Hello everybody, thank you for choosing this video to watch. I guess it will not come as a surprise to you when I tell you that this box came to me all the way from Ecuagenera in Ecuador to faraway Belgium. And I would call this a treasure box since inside the box we got 10 exciting and uncommon plants that I would love to show you. As usual, the box looked like a sarcophagus with several small mummies inside. And I will briefly show you the list of plants that we got. We got 8 philodendrons and 2 goldfish plants. So let's dive into the box, and here we got the first plant. This is a philodendron maximum, quote, Ecuagenera, unquote. And you might know that maximum in Latin means biggest, so indeed this is supposed to be one of the biggest philodendrons in the world where it comes to leaf shape. Luckily, this specimen could still fit the box, but I bet that in 1 year time this will not be the case anymore. This plant, by the way, looks just fine with 6 healthy leaves, a nice healthy growing point and aerial roots that look as if they could strangle a medium-sized mammal. Next up is this Philodendron bodwenze Amazonas. This is a philodendron native mainly to Columnia, if I'm not mistaken. It definitely looks like a climber, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed by the size of this plant. It might even be taller than the previous one I showed you, and I'm counting no less than 10 leaves on this plant, which is pretty amazing. Although one bottom leaf is yellowing and will no doubt die off in the next couple of days, we got 9 big leaves remaining, so there is nothing to be worried about. And on top of all that, there is a new leaf emerging at the top, so I would say so far so good. Okay, let's do another philodendron. This is the Philodendron Parvilobum Paradise. And first of all, look at all those aerial roots. That's just crazy. I also see 4 leaves that will survive the shipping, even if the one on the left is slightly damaged. Now, I read that this philodendron can go dormant in winter time and then it will lose all its leaves. Now, I have never heard about dormancy with philodendrons, so I'll just have to see what happens in winter with this guy. Perhaps I'll play some loud music in winter so it will stay awake. Now let's have a look at the goldfish plant. This is the Columnia strigosa. Now, strigosa in Latin means thin. And since this plant wanted to look thin for me upon arrival, it decided to literally lose all of its leaves, and obviously also the only flower that it had, that's the yellow thing you see there on top in the middle. Now, all this may look terrible, and it is, but goldfish plants sometimes lose all their leaves during shipping, but the leaves mostly will grow back. And if not, then I will just take some top stem cuttings, put them in vermiculite, and they will root quite easily actually. So even though this looks like a catastrophe, I think this plant will be just fine. And here we have the poor thing standing up, and thin it is indeed. Now let's switch back to the philodendrons with this Philodendron longipetiolatum, a plant native mainly to Brazil and Colombia, and this plant is better known under another name actually, which is Philodendron sphalerus. Now this specimen here looks, let's say, medium size, but it has 4 gorgeous leaves that are perfectly green, and I get the feeling that this guy is just dying to start off and climb like there's no tomorrow. Now the next philodendron I want to show, Philodendron Smithy Aspirin, is quite interesting. I suppose it's a cross between a Smithy eye and an aspirin, and look at those beautiful leaf shapes. I just turned the plant a little bit around so you can see it better, and I'm counting 2 small leaves and 4 big ones. Now I want to show you this red gooey thing. This is what's left of the cataphyll, the protective special leaf for the new growing point. Now, if you see this, you should really try and take it all off the plant as soon as possible. And the reason why is that if you leave it on, there is a risk that it will stick to the new growing point, which will rot because of the humidity and stickiness of this cataphyll. Okay, plant number 7 is the Philodendron Tenu. It's a plant that's actually quite popular. Now I only see 3 leaves, and the newest one of the three has clearly suffered quite a bit from the shipping. So I think I'm definitely going to lose that leaf. Now, the Tenu is a climbing philodendron. It loves high humidity, and people love this plant because the leaves are so beautifully wrinkled. Now, the good news is that at the bottom I do see a new small growing point, so I would say that there is definitely hope for this plant to make it. Plant number 8 is the second goldfish plant of this shipping. It's called Columnia flexiflora, and this plant should give me beautiful red flowers if all goes well. And the funny thing is that this goldfish plant didn't lose any of its leaves at all. Now, this plant from Ecuador is supposed to be an endangered species. But then I ask myself, how come that I can just order it online for only $18? But that's probably just me. Okay, over to plant number 9. This is another Smithy Eye cultivar called Smithy Eye Red. And you don't have to be an Einstein to see where that name comes from. I mean, look at all that gorgeous red on the stem and also on the petioles, by the way. I think that's quite a nice color scheme. I'm counting 5 healthy leaves. The plant is already climbing a little bit, so I think I should reward it for that with a moss ball the next couple of days. Now for the final plant of this unboxing, I have to say that I'm so happy with it that I just have to make a separate video about it. This is the Philodendron Polarize CF. Now, the addition CF is actually important because the regular Polarize is already one of my favorite philodendrons, but this cousin of him right here has an extra feature that really surprised me. And you might have seen it already, the bottom part of the leaves is covered in this beautiful burgundy red color, and even the petioles have this red glow to them, as you can see. Now, as you might know, I already have quite a few philodendrons at home in all kinds of shapes and colors, and yet this philodendron genus just doesn't stop surprising me. And I think that's one of the reasons why the philodendron is my favorite genus of plants. By the way, like 8 out of the 9 other plants that I just unboxed, this plant has survived the shipping perfectly. It didn't lose any leaves, and I see no yellowing whatsoever at any of the leaves. So once again, I have to say congrats to Ecuagenera. They really did a great job here. That's all that I have for today. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this unboxing. I hope to see you again on my channel. I wish you a very good day. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.